Well, let's back up again. Let's go back to the marriage. So again, so we said the marriage, the Icarus is on the chuppah, is on the Nesuin. And we're very mocked, but even though a lot of times we'll make or someone who's was never married before, or you know, especially if sometimes there's a situation that if you don't do it now, it won't work out later. We're in this time we're very makbid. If there's a real situation, you know, go ask the rabbi. But during this time we're very makbid. But being that there's different zmanim when to do it, so the shaila always comes up. If let's say, for example, the basic two minhagim we have today is from after Pesach till Lag BaOmer, or from Rosh Chodesh Iyar. We'll see later that there are other minhagim. Rosh Chodesh Iyar itself is a shaila and minhag, whether you keep the Sefira on the Rosh Chodesh Iyar. On Lag BaOmer there's a shaila we'll see, and during the Shalosh Me'agbola, or Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or the days in between Rosh Chodesh Nisan and Shalosh Me'agbola, there's a shaila exactly the details. But the basic two minhagim are is beginning until Lag BaOmer, which according to the Sfardim was the beginning until Lamadal BaOmer. Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring down the Lag BaOmer. It's 33 days. Technically, it's 33 days, and we just don't keep it on Chol Hamoed because it's Yom Tov, so you don't keep it Avelis. But it's 33 days, so it includes Lag BaOmer. It became the minhag started, believe it or not, from the Ramah. Brings down on Lag BaOmer. We make it a simcha even, and it's carried over to the Sfardim in a big way. But they took it over. But basically, it started from the Ramah. The Ikar din of the Sfardim was until Lamadal BaOmer.
According to the Ramah, you could take a haircut on the Lag BaOmer itself.
Yeah, according to Omer, you could take a haircut on Lag BaOmer himself. The Ramah's the Ikar minhag Ashkenaz was from Rosh Chodesh Iyar until Sivan, until Shosh Me'agbola maybe. And Lag BaOmer was excluded. That was the Ikar minhag Ashkenaz. A lot of people picked up the minhag Sfard, which was until Lag BaOmer, and we keep Lag BaOmer as a shtickle Yom Tov, so Lag BaOmer was excluded. That's how things evolved. But the Ikar minhag Ashkenaz was from the beginning all the way till Sivan, and Lag BaOmer was excluded. But a lot of people have the minhag to do the first half nonetheless, which is until Lag BaOmer. Now, the question is this two? Moshe has a chakira, such a lomdish chakira, but is it two separate minhagim, or the yisoid hadavar is it's one minhag? To be ba'avel is 33 days. It really comes out 32 days, but to be ba'avel is 33 days. Just the question is how you do it. Do I do it now or do I do it after? But it's really one minhag. And the nafkamina is if it's two separate minhagim. If you have one minhag, you can't switch your minhag. That's what your minhag, just I want to do this and that, I want to do that. But if it has a din, if it's one minhag, it's just a question of how I'm keeping it. So then Moshe says it's possible that you could switch your minhag, because you're not really switching your minhag, you're just switching how you're keeping the minhag. So you could do it 1 year the first half, and 1 year maybe the second half. That's what Moshe has. So Moshe wants to say it's very relevant, you want to make a wedding, and so the dates don't work out. The first part, before Rosh Chodesh Iyar, so maybe I'll do it after Lag BaOmer. So Moshe wants to say it's possible for a person to do it, even though Moshe holds me'ikar adin, since for Ashkenazim it's better to do it before Rosh Chodesh Iyar than to do it after Lag BaOmer. Moshe holds.
Why is it 33?
Well,
why is it 33 days?
So the question is, how long did they die, the Talmidim? So we said it's from Prois V'ad Atzeres. We started from the beginning. It's from Pesach till Atzeres, which sounds like it happened all the way till Shavuos, but some have the girsa ad Prois Atzeres, which is really 15 days before. It really means they stopped dying al Pina Medrash. The Medrash is before they stopped dying by Lag BaOmer. That's why we make the Simcha on Lag BaOmer. So according to that Medrash, that's why we stop on Lag BaOmer. According to the other girsa, it's all the way until Shavuos, or it could be again, it's 33 days they died, so we do whatever 33 days it is. There's another reason for the minhag in Ashkenaz why they did it after Lag BaOmer is because the Gzeros Tatnu, the Taz brings down the Crusades, was during that time. It was during that's why we say on Shabbos, we say even on Shabbos Baruch, we say Avarachamim, because it was a time, and Avarach was made for the Crusades, and it was during this time of year that it happened. So in Ashkenaz, that's why the minhag came to do it after Lag BaOmer also. So besides the reason for, because again these days are al pi Kabbalah is the Yemei Hadin, the days of din, and we see during generations things did happen during this time, so it was accepted to keep even after Lag BaOmer until that's why in Minhag Ashkenaz that's where it came from. But Akoponim, either way, whatever the minhag is, that's how you keep. Whatever your minhag is, that's the way you keep it. But Moshe wants to say you possibly could flip it over. You could possibly flip it over, but Makom HaTzorich, we had a situation at my sister's wedding. We called him David Feinstein. He was very against it. So I don't know. He said not to do it in the first half, not to do it in the second. Even our minhag is the first half. He said don't even do it in the second half. He was very makbid on it. So it was our Mordechai, so we followed him. But in the Chuvas, it seems that one could do it in the other half, especially going to a wedding. It's another thing, going to a wedding. Let's say you hold the second half and the wedding is made in the second half, or you hold the first half and the wedding is made before Rosh Chodesh year. So Moshe says clearly for this reason you could go, because since he's allowed to make it then, so you're allowed to be mishtatef in his simcha and go. There's a Shiloh Shus Chasam Sofer wants to say that if you go to a wedding in the first half, then don't go to a wedding in the second half. Don't do a Tarti Sarsias once, You go to a wedding in the second half, don't go in the first half. So Chasam Sofer Moshe argues, he says, maybe it would make sense if you were the one that making the wedding, Don't make both weddings. Or you were the Moira Hara that said make both weddings. Doesn't make sense. But just to go to a wedding, Moshe holds you can go. That's the Olam's Noyig, to go to the weddings, mishtatef in the simcha. You don't have to hold back. Why could you be mishtatef in the simcha? Because it's a hefsid for Yanim. If you're there, you don't dance. For him, it's a hefsid. You can't cause Yanim a hefsid based on it. It's a hefsid for them. You come to the wedding, you don't dance, you don't participate. So therefore, he knows that you could join into the simcha if someone makes a wedding during that time. The question is dancing. Where did that come from? This whole dancing bit.
On the wedding?
Yeah. It's not very clear either. You can't make an Nisuin because that's Ikar Simcha. So, but Maisa, it seems that the Ikar Minhag from having dancing is to dance. You show your Simcha on the outside. You jump up and down, dance. Kudim Machulas. Where the issue of listening to music is not so clear where that came from either, but it's all things that would make someone dance, something which would bring out a person's, thing. So the shaila is, if you're going to a simcha shal mitzvah, and the makom mitzvah could be allowed to dance anyways. You're allowed to dance in a suda shal mitzvah. The shaila will come out sometimes bar mitzvah or something. Can't find it here. I think I saw it B'Shalom Zalman or shaila machlokes. If you're allowed to have even music and dancing by bar mitzvah, it's a sudas mitzvah. Something which is not a sudas mitzvah, it's better not to have dancing. So in other words, but something which is a sudas mitzvah is a shaila you're allowed to have. I think the minhag is not to have music by bar mitzvah during the Sefira. Although it's a shaila, it's a makom lahata, makom lahachma. I think it's a machlokes on that, to have a simcha music during that time. So shaila is also making a vart. Making a vart during that time is also to have music. To make so, this is where it makes a difference. In the time of the Gemara, they split the kedushin and the nasuin. So if you made a kedushin during the time, they were matter to have dancing, because that was a real simcha, that was a real sudas mitzvah, and by real sudas mitzvah, you could be matter dancing. Today, we don't make the kedushin because we put that together with the wedding. It's just a vart, a tanoim. So for that, it's better. There is a makom to be makel, but it's better to be better not to have music there and dancing. If someone,
but you can have the vort, just no music.
Yeah, for sure you can have the vort. You should have the vort. We said it before. You should have the vort. So no one else should chaper rice. There's someone whose parnasa is to play music is allowed to play music. Someone whose parnasa is playing music, he's allowed to play music at different bands. By goyim. Can't do it for Jews. Jews he can't do it because they're not allowed to have it. He'll have a good shiloh if he has to play the chassan in the first half, and then he has to play a chassan in the second half. If he's allowed to do it, he should ask the shiloh. For him that doesn't help. For the Baal Simcha.
What's the difference?
Because Baal Simcha get another band. There's plenty of bands here.
But it shouldn't be a question. He's not doing it out of joy. He's doing it for parnasa. They can have the simcha because
consideration that this might override.
What?
You said before that hefsid mammon
For the person that's making the simcha.
Yeah.
You don't want him to have a hefsid. He's allowed to do it. But for me, if there's no chiluk between if I'm doing it here, let's say there's no difference if I'm playing or my friend's playing. I keep the.
There's a difference for you.
Let's say we're on the same band.
For your parnasa.
It's your parnasa.
Oh, for my parnasa.
Yeah, you're in the band.
I don't know if that's a head.
And you're saying, and you've got a gig, you've got a wedding in the first half, and you've got a wedding in the second half. I don't understand why that wouldn't be the same.
because you're not doing it in the first half because you're not keeping Sefira. You're doing it because it's your parnas.
Yeah, in a chadam. It could be if he needs it for his parnas, he'd be allowed to do it. Yeah.
That's the only reason he can do it.
You know, there are a lot of guys who play in these bands. It's not their principal parnasa. They've got a job. But they make a bit. Is that considered? Is it considered parnasa if you make a few bucks from doing?
Today you need a few bucks.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is not enough.
Does that include recorded music? Let's say the guy's a DJ or something like that.
So again, it's a good question. All these questions of music, it's unclear where this began. But Maisa, the minhag is not to listen to music. But what I'm saying is the ikka point is not listening to music on a tape. The main point is something which brings simcha, you dance and this. So you have a labadika singing also. Today they make these tapes which are not real music, but it's the same thing as the music tapes basically. There's really no chiluk unless you taka don't enjoy it. Chazonis, if you don't enjoy it, taka mutter.
Okay.
I'm saying, but if it's a labadika singing, you're allowed to have masibis where you sing, Hatzig and Agudim, slow songs that you're allowed to have, And also you have to take into perspective different situations. If you have children or people that need it for their spiritual well-being, they get depressed. They should definitely listen to music. It's a bigger risk to be depressed than to listen to music during the Sefira. So hakol lefi ha'inyan. But for a regular person, that's who avoids it. That's the best thing. Hachnas Sefer Torah is also a simcha shal mitzvah. Technically, you could dance by Hachnas Sefer Torah. Anything which is a real simcha shal mitzvah is allowed. So that's as far as marriage goes. There's an interesting shaila on Lag BaOmer itself. There's a machlokes in the Mishabura brings down. The Mishabura brings down. This to Wamata Lag BaOmer is Wamata it from the day, because you have to have mitzvahs hayom kakulai. So in other words, you have to start a little bit. Lag BaOmer is really part of the Sefira technically, but like Avelis, like the last day of Avelis, you have part of the day, so you can finish your Avelis with that. So Lag BaOmer also, if you do part of the day, and once the day starts in the morning, so you yotzi Avelis for the day, and then you could go into to the Simcha of Lag BaOmer. So that's what the Mishabura brings down. But with Maisa, there are others that hold that even the night is mutter. In other words, according to the Mishabura, the night would be asur. You can't do anything at night, the night before. But according to the others, Lag BaOmer wasn't part of the count. Lag BaOmer is not part of the count. Lag BaOmer is mutter. It's machlokes why we're matter on Lag BaOmer itself.
But the barn fires are mostly Arab, are they not? All these big barn fires they have, aren't they Arab?
This year, I don't know. It could be the whole Lag BaOmer itself. They start when they do it at night.
They do it at night.
The night before.
Yeah.
If you do it on the night,
There was a psak from Rabbi Yosef this year.
Yeah.
That because Lag BaOmer is Moitzi Shabbos, he said in order to prevent Chilul Shabbos, we should put off the celebrations to the Sunday night. rather than the.
He doesn't want to have Chol Shabbos. People have been traveled to Maron before,
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, Kapanim, it's a Machlokes. Machlokes had to be noyed. And a lot of people, I think in America, are makbid on the night before. They do mix and haircuts and things, don't take the night before, they do it the night before. But Maisa, Ikra Din, it's better. In other words, let's say for a chasana, for example, if you have to make a chasana, if you make the chasana on Lil, at the night of Lag BaOmer, you're okay. You make it at night, you can make the whole wedding. But if you're going to make the chasana on Lag BaOmer itself, and you hold the second Sefira, that is, so if you make the chasana on Lag BaOmer, so it's going to go into the night.
You have to finish before Mara.
Yeah, then you have a whole shiloh. Could you continue it into tonight? Once it's the Simcha Shal Mitzvah, maybe you're allowed to continue it. It's definitely more l'chatchila. It's more l'chatchila to do it the night of Lag BaOmer, if you hold the second half. So even though there's a machlokes in this, and many people, for example, won't take haircuts the night before or that, but when it comes to a simcha, making a simcha, it's better to do it the night before than to do it on Lag BaOmer, especially it's late in Lag BaOmer. It's to make chasans, make it in the afternoon, you're okay, but if you make it close to the night, so it'll go into the night, you run into that problem. So that was a big shadow when Lag BaOmer starts, and like you're saying, this year, where since you're taking a haircut for Lag BaOmer, so you could take one already Erev Shabbos, because it's not covered Shabbos. When Lag BaOmer comes out on Sunday, it's not covered Shabbos to take a haircut after Shabbos. You take it on Sunday, so you're allowed to take it. You should take it on Friday before. Someone's if you didn't take it Friday, now you want to take it Motzei Shabbos, and then you get into the Shiloh. If Motzei Shabbos is part of the Sefira, it starts on Sunday morning, or it's on Motzei Shabbos. But
so taking a haircut, let's say this year, Sunday morning, would be a problem?
No, you're allowed to take it on Lag BaOmer. You're allowed to take it, but since you're allowed to take it on Lag BaOmer, it's better to take it Friday, because Friday is covered Shabbos.
Multi Friday?
Yeah.
Is it true every Friday?
There's two reasons why they didn't. It's interesting. The Lavush brings the reason why they.
Every Friday you can take a haircut?
Yeah. The Lavush brings the reason why they. Interesting reason why when Lag BaOmer came on Sunday they took haircuts on Friday. He says because Sunday was Yom Meidam. Sunday all the barber shops are closed. You can't get a haircut. You can't get a haircut, so they allowed you to take it Friday. But the other place can bring the reason because it covered the Shabbos.
But if it's covered Shabbos, in principle you could take a haircut every Friday.
No, because since you can take a haircut Sunday, so it looks bad. You walk around Shabbos like a hippie, and then you come on Sunday and you get a haircut. It's not covered Shabbos. So it's better to take it on Friday, where it's if you're not taking a haircut for the next 4 weeks, who cares? So you don't take it on Shabbos, you don't take it Friday.
But if you were going to take one on Lag BaOmer,
if you're going to take one on Lag BaOmer, so then take one on Friday, because then it's covered.
But that's only when Lag BaOmer falls on Sunday.
Yeah, only when it falls on Sunday. If someone has a chasana also, after Lag BaOmer, so the Shabbos before, especially when it's Friday house like this year, it's at Eifrif. So the Eifrif also is allowed to possibly take a haircut for the Eifrif, or at least wear new clothing you can wear for the Eifrif. It's also a mitzvah, also Simcha on Shabbos. Getting to the new clothing, so that's the third shlav. Oh, one other thing, which is also taking haircuts. So the question always became, first of all, let's say a cotton. If you give a haircut to a child, so we're not giving for katanim. The haircut is to available easy for katanim, but unless the child needs it for whatever reason, he really needs the haircut, then he's allowed to take it. But with a child, let's say for a guy who's getting bar mitzvah, if he could take a haircut for his bar mitzvah, so if he takes it before his bar mitzvah, he's still a cotton. So maybe he can take a haircut. So there is a makam to be makel on the days, again, the days where it's not for everybody. In other words, you take it before Scheiner, even if your minhag is the first half, but there's a makam to make it for katanim. It's not a day which everybody is noiga avelis. It could be a makam to be makel that he could take it. It's a cotton anyways. Though we're noiga avelis on katanim also, but there's those that were makel. For taking up Sharon.
So, for example, a cotton would sit shiva.
Yeah, when our Avelis sort of spills over to the Ketanim. He doesn't really have any Chiv Mitzvah himself, it's a Chinuch, but our Avelis, spills over. The Gemara says that they used to, when they fasted for by Yoina, right? They fasted, even the Ketanim fasted. It's Tsar. When they show the Tsar, even the Ketanim do. But if you want to give your kid an upshare, and you can give it to him even during the Sefira, but it came the minute to wait till Lag B'Omer, his whole Simcha to make upshare. The Rizal made an upshare on Lag B'Omer to leave the pace. The cutting is to leave the pace. That's a simple Shal Mitzvah. Cutting is made an upshare on Lag B'Omer. So I think by the Mekabalim, even a year like this year, where you have Friday, someone had the Shiloh last year. I think it was very similar last year also. It was 2 years ago. I remember same Shiloh should give the upshare on a Friday from Kavod Shabbos, so she wait till Lag B'Omer. So technically, Kavod Shabbos you should do it Friday, but I think the whole thing of waiting for Lag B'Omer is Kabbalah, and I think the Mekabalim they wait till Sunday regardless. They go to be on Sunday even if it's after Shabbos. Shiloh is taking of shaving. Shaving is also technically b'chlal the issur of taking a haircut. And there was a Shiloh if you can be matter l'kavod malchus. So the Tshuvas bring down l'kavod malchus. If someone has an appointment by the Melech, he's allowed to. It's kavod malchus. He's allowed to take a haircut. The Shiloh was for chashash hefsed mammon. If someone has a loss of money, is he allowed to? So it was machlekes. Zera Emes and others were machmer. Eretz Yisrael the very machmer. Eretz Yisrael is not so relevant because all Jews anyways. So everybody understands if you don't think. But Moshe and his tshuva was mekel. It's hefsed mammon. If a guy goes to business and he's worried he'll have a hefsed mammon from it, so Moshe was mekel that someone could shave during Sefira and during the 3 weeks, but during the 9 days not. 9 days, and Moshe says no heter. Heter is only during Sefira and during the 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks that will be. Shua Shachalba is much more common, but during the 3 weeks it says what?
Are there other opinions that are more makel with respect to the 9 days?
Very shver. Very shver. Very shver. 9 days where the heter came from is very not clear. If there's a hefsed mammon meruba, that the guy is going to lose a huge amount of money, so then could be this makom hakuk. Because the mitzvah say you're not going to give up your parnasa. Moshe says you have to give up all your money from mitzvah say. You only have to give up chaimish mitzvah say. But for someone had the Shiloh last year here when Rabbi Taub was here, and I referred him to Rabbi Taub, and Rabbi Taub said, just go ahead, don't worry, you're not going to lose your money. Everybody's fear, everybody's scared they're going to lose. A person lost a parent, he would go a few days without shaving. People understand it's not that long, during 9 days. But Akapanim during the Sefira, the Moshe was mekel, and the American was say Mechaned Moshe, and someone who needs to for his parnasa could shave. So other people are allowed to shave, like on Chalamoid. Whoever has a heter on Chalamoid is allowed to have the same heter, take a haircut even, has the same heter during the Sefira. Someone, a Baal Tshuva. So that someone who's, let's say a guy walks in with long hair, and then he decides he's doing Tshuva, he wants to take a haircut, like the rest of society takes haircuts. So he comes in, he's allowed to take a haircut. Anybody who's in such a situation, or someone who is in jail comes out, anyone who didn't have an opportunity to take a haircut earlier, Meza Tam Shayir, a real, Avel that finishes his Me'avelus, he really looks bad, there's also a heter for him. That anyone who couldn't take a haircut before has a heter to take during the Sefira. Okay, let's get to the new clothing. Shachiyanu. So this is very unclear where this started from. We have a minhag that we don't make a shachiyanu. Don't make a shachiyanu during the Sefira. we don't make a shechianu. The shah is where it came from, because here it is. Minat din, there's no kapeda. Again, it's not during the 3 weeks. People mix up the 3 weeks and the Sefira, like we said before, with cutting of nails and other things. There's no issue to Mikra din. You're allowed to buy new clothing. You're allowed to wear new clothing. Mikra din, there's no problem with new clothing during the Sefira. But so there's a shah. There were some in Hagim, and it's brought down. It's brought down in the Mishnah Berurah even. It started at one point, there was a minig not to make a shechianu. You want to make a shechianu v'giyanu lazman hazeh, to this time, and it's a bad time. So it became a minig not to make a shechianu during the time of the Sefira. So technically...
Is this for the whole 49 days, or for the portion you're keeping?
Technically the portion you're keeping. The portion you're keeping, the minig not to say shechianu. But... so they used to make a shechianu every time you bought a clothing, you put on a clothing, you make a shechianu. Like if a guy buys a new suit, technically you should make a shechianu. So you make a shechianu either b'shas you buy it, or if you wear it. The ikar din is to make a shechianu when you buy it. So it became the minhag not to either wearing or buying. So today it's a little complicated, because today most clothing we don't make a shechianu on. We're so used to getting new clothing, we don't make shechianus on new clothing. So and after there still remained the minhag not to buy new clothing. So even though the time of the minhag was out the shechianu, but the sort of the reason fell aside, because we don't make shechianu. We don't make so many shechianus today, you know. So we're a little bit. Our sensitivities are not so strong. You know, we get a new clothing. Oh, shechianu, we don't have that same feeling. So therefore, we don't really make the bracha. But the ikar din, since the din is technically you make a bracha on it, so therefore the minhag became not to buy new clothing and not to wear it. It's important to know this, because even if you basically the minhag among today here is people don't buy and wear new clothing, but makom atzorich, definitely one can be makel. And if he needs to, he should wear it on Shabbos. There's a new suit he can wear on Shabbos, but a new shirt and anything else which is not so chashiv, and the person needs a shirt, he definitely could wear it. He doesn't have to go overboard and to be macham on these things. It's a minhag which one should try. You know, it's a minhag, one should keep it. But if it's possible, if someone needs clothing he doesn't have, his shirt got ruined, he needs another shirt, he has to go to work, there's no shaylu, he could put on a new shirt. The best thing is if you can wear it on Shabbos, especially if it's a chashiv clothing like a suit or something, he wears it on Shabbos, and Shabbos to wear makilim anyways, covered Shabbos to wear it.
If you haven't had contact with your friend for 30 days, say shechianu as well.
Yeah, again, today we don't make these brachas.
So we don't do it.
Yeah,
we wouldn't do it during this time.
So you don't actually have to pre-wear your clothes before?
No, for sure not. No issue of washing clothing in the So again, the best thing is if a person needs new clothing, he should wear Shabbos and then wear Shinui. But if he needs to, he could wear it. He could wear it, especially wearing it. Buying it is a little more chamor. But again, those are makel if you can't get it. Not during Sefira, so you pick it up during Sefira if you can't get it. But there's such a minhag not to buy.
Only clothes, or let's say car? Can you buy a car?
Oh, what about a car? Can you buy a new car? Can you buy a new house? So this is the interesting part. There's two brachas. There's a bracha shechianu, and there's a bracha of hatoiva meitiv. Shechianu is when you make a bracha for something which only you have a benefit from. You make a shechianu. Hatoiva meitiv is if you have a benefit from, and your family has this, other people have a benefit. You buy a new house, you make a hatoiva meitiv. You have a benefit from, and your family has a benefit. You buy a new car, you have a benefit from, your family has. So there was never a minhag not to make a bracha hatoiva meitiv. Even though it technically might be a bigger simcha, but the ikar minhag was not to make a shechianu, not to make a hatoiva meitiv. So chayra, there's no issur to make to buy a new car or to move into a new house. But nonetheless, there are those that are makbid not to something which brings a lot of simcha. It's a ribay simcha, an old brand new car. It's a ribay simcha. So those that are makbid. But again, if the person's lease runs out, he needs a new car. He needs a car to live to drive it. He could pick it up. It's not. There's no mikra adin. There's no issue in this. It's just it was a midig that was nishtar from the bracha shechayanu. So something which has a real riboy simcha. So the question also comes moving into a new house. A person needs a place. He can move in. The question comes to doing repainting, renovating. So that's those that are makbid taka not to renovate houses during the Sefira, because again it's a riboy simcha. But again, if it's something which makes no difference if we do it now or do it after, better do it after. But if it's something you need a room and there's something wrong, you got to fix it up. So then something which is a tzorich, so then how you could do during the.
Seems to be finishing the renovation is the simcha. Doing the renovation
once you
is not
start
the
it,
simcha.
yeah. If you're not finished till after, there's no shaila. Yeah. He brings down taka.
It's insane.
He
brings down here. But one of the reasons people are makbid not to renovate and do these things for the same reason we said by a wedding, that since the yomim these days are old for not good things, so just like the chasana, you don't want to make a chasana because it might not work out well. So same idea, you're making a new house, you want to live in this house, you want it to be a bracha. You want the house to have a bracha, you don't want the house to have a din should be on the house. So that's why people are makbid stop Masam Musa these days. But again, there's no clear issur on it, so if there's a tzorich, a person needs it, so then there's no shaila. So someone's doing extra for Eid Simcha, he wants to have a nicer house, Eid Simcha, so that's where it comes that it's better to do it afterwards. There's no shaila that for a wedding, you need new clothing for the wedding, for the chassan and kala, there's no shaila, a person go out and do it and get it. It's interesting to note, just going back a minute, that when the Ikar Din, when they made this, when this minhag started about getting married, there was a knas. The rabbanim in town had a right to give a knas to a person that there was a din that they gave a knas to a person that had a wedding that did it during this time.
Knas?
Monetary,
penalty.
Penalty during this time, and. So there was a chaimer, a communal chaimer, that during this time, if someone broke the minhag, they gave a. You'll find this in all other things, but here you find it. They gave a penalty on it. But nonetheless, if someone's getting married in a mutter time, after Lag B'Omer or on Lag B'Omer, whatever his minhag is, there's no question he could get ready before and buy the stuff. The whole thing, again, like we said, is only al shechliano, and it's not really mikra adin. There's no shaila he could do that. As far as listening to music, we'll just end with this. The reason why we're machmir on listening to music is really for another reason altogether. And that is, the whole heter of listening to music during the year is a little bit floozy. Because Mechaber brings down that after the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, it's also to play music and listen to music. The Ramah comes to our aid. The Ramah says, it's based on the Machlekes Rishonim, the Ramah says that no, the issur is only for malachim, for kings, and when they used to wake up in the morning and go to sleep. It's interesting that waking up in the morning with music or going to sleep with music is more common than stam listening to music during the day. That's how the kings used to do it. They would get up in the morning to music and go to sleep with music. But when I was in yeshiva, there was a guy there that used to wake up with music every morning. He did it even during the 3 weeks. It bothered him to get fed, but he did it because he was a genius guy. He's a big Talmid Chacham now, but a lot of geniuses come with depression, who knows what. So he needed the morning to get up. So again, I call for your union, but listening to music is during the Suda. Having a Suda with music is asur today. Having a Suda with music is asur. Only for a Sudas Mitzvah we allow it. I call Shari from Sudas Mitzvah. But a Suda of music by real live, especially live music by Suda, is asur, unless a Sudas Mitzvah. And And that's it. So we're knowing today that Al Peter Ramah that you're allowed to listen to music.
And who said, what was the original charge for not listening to music?
After the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, because of the veils. It's Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch. I don't know what the Sfadim do, but Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch says you can listen to music. And the Ramah's makel, except for in the times which is like times when when the kings and others used to have music. They used to have it by the meals. They would have music. This way, so that we don't do.
David woke up every morning with music.
Yeah, woke up every morning. That's right. That's how they used to do it. But in the times when we do have Yemei Avelis, so the history of music sort of falls back. So it's not just we're not listening to music because it's Yemei Sefira. You don't listen to music because you don't listen to music. You never listen to music. Good, we have a heter during the year. We have a heter during the year to listen to music. But in the times of Sefira, and the times of the 3 weeks when the Avelis is back, so we sort of go back to the old minhag, not to listen to music. So that's where that came from.
Can I ask you, when you think music not supposed to make you happy. So if you listen to some kind of, like happy music,
Right,
happy,
right.
it's not good. But if you, let's say, listening to classical, Bach, Beethoven, like doesn't necessarily makes you jump and dance.
It doesn't make you jump and dance, but it lifts your spirits.
Funeral dirge.
Funeral music, maybe not, yeah.
Now you can listen to it.
But again, if someone feels he needs it for his spiritual well-being, that definitely overrides all other considerations. And it's all relative. So it's not.
So if you're listening to news on the radio, and there's an ad that comes on, has music in the background.
Yeah.
That's not listening to music. You're not doing it to listen to music.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What? No, I said there's an ad with music.
Keep you awake. Yeah, you know what I do to keep me awake? I have the kids in the back, so you put on the Uncle Moshe tapes, and believe me, you can't fall asleep. Those things don't, you have no hana from that. You listen to some kind of music which you have no pleasure from, That's for sure you can listen to. As long as other things. But yeah, if someone feels that he's falling asleep and he needs something to wake him up, you
do have enough. The kids are quiet.
Yeah. You can listen to. But is, stam to listen to music is, even during the year we do it because we do it. We go with the Ramah, but we have to remember that Avelis at the Beis HaMikdash is not here. Is all year Avelis because we just have to live life. So Omer says, okay, listen to music. Originally they had all kinds of takonos. You can't eat meat. You can't. But we got to live life. We got to go on and do the Avelis during its specific times. So,
they had you couldn't eat meat?
Yeah, right after the Beis HaMikdash.
At any time, or just.
Yeah.
With the Talmidim,
right.
When the Gemara says that they were making common sellers, is that a main reason, or we really don't know, but we say that this is one of the factors?
Yeah, it seems to me that that's the reason. Covered. There is one of the Chuvas that he brings down here, in Megoinim, it seems like there was a Magefa. There was a Magefa at the time, and other people died also. That's what it seems. But the Gemara gives a reason why Nagu covered. Maybe it's Nagu covered, so they were included in Magefa even though they shouldn't have been.
So that's why the Magefa.
Yeah, but again, like we mentioned, that one of the reasons we have the Simcha on Lag BaOmer is because that's, if you hold it, stop dying, then that's when he found the other 5 Talmidim. And it was a transmission of the Torah went from Rabbi Akiva to the 5 Talmidim. One of the 5 Talmidim was Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. That's why we make a big deal of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai on Lag BaOmer. He was one of the 5 Talmidim the Torah was handed over to him. So it was the Messiah Torah that was destroyed with the Magefa, all 24,000 Talmidim. The Gemara we have, the more we have is based on the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. Once through Rabbi Akiva to the 5 Talmidim. Imagine what kind of Gemara we'd have. Much longer to make a Siyum Shas if it would be from the 24,000 Talmidim. So Torah was much. At that time was Ha'olam Shamim. The whole world was destroyed. It was missing the Mesiras HaTorah given over to the generations. at that point.
They learned Torah always and they didn't know cover.
Covered means that, again, covered doesn't mean that they made fun of their friends. Covered means that, like me and my friends, I don't stand up for them every time he walks by. But when you're talking about people at the stature of Talmidei Rabbi Akiva, they should have treated each other like they treated their Rabbeim.
Right, so why did they? That's what they learned the whole day. Why did they practice?
We don't do it either. We don't treat our friends. It wasn't they were doing something wrong. It was that they weren't going the extra. They were not covered. It doesn't say that they mavazah their friends. It says they didn't give.
You get back for that then.
For Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim, they took the Kadin on that's why we say that it's Yemei Adin during this time. It's Yemei Adin. It was a tremendous diktuk Adin, Midas Adin. Gemara says that no one could survive al pi Midas Adin. No one could survive. Only a few. The only one that was able to survive al pi Midas Adin is Rabbi Akiva. Another lesson we could learn out, he's waiting to come in the morning, but another lesson we could learn out from here is that you go through Rabbi Akiva's life. Rabbi Akiva had Bar Kochva. He had 24,000 Talmidim. He had such opportunities that he thought were coming to fruition. And then fruition, he thought it was coming, and then it was destroyed upon him. He backed Bar Kochva. He had 24,000 Talmidim all destroyed, and then he kept on going like nothing happened. A day later, he goes and he sets up 5 Talmidim, and he kept on putting it on.
How long did it take?
It seems that it was the next day. It was like Omer. So
how many days to get them all?
I don't know. But upon him, if you see,
didn't learn?
I must say, I'll talk to you after. So upon him, the lesson you take out of this is that even a person who's going through so much, and that the whole Kleisel is on his shoulders, and sort of it was deflated so many times to such a degree, kept on going on, and he built the Torah Shabbat Peh like we have today. So that's the simcha of Lag BaOmer we can have.